is brought to you by Tonight's episode is brought to you by the GOAT Party Planning. When you want to throw the greatest party, whether it's for your 65th birthday or your 100th episode, hire the greatest. Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed, Liv and Roxanne have declared for the Rumble. How happy is the Baron? The Rambler Complaint Department is on special assignment for the next month or two as a product tester at a dildo manufacturing company. How is that a good idea after having surgery on your wrist? What will Max rant about tonight during From the Desk of Max Magius? All of this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
Video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast for news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and sometimes more. Holy squared circle, Baron, it's our 100th episode. Man, the show sure looks different 100 episodes later. How did we end up doing the 100th episode by ourselves? But before you answer that, let's introduce everybody. Up first, the man who is higher than a jet airliner and whose signature catchphrase is and always will be
420.
Give it up for the Baron.
Thank you. Dude, I don't know what's happened. We've done this for how many years now, Max? How many years have we gotten away with doing what we're doing currently?
I think we've been doing this like 15 years, something like that.
We have not two-manned the show, the two-man power trip, in 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. We had to click buttons. We had to do things we've never done before, but it's going to be fantastic, man. This is great. I'm glad we're both here together, and it's number 100. Who the fuck thought we were going to get there?
And listen, I want everybody out there to know, usually when Dizzy's here, he puts all the stories together. He gets everything ready. He sets up the show. He does all this work. And for the first time ever, and Styles took the setting the show up and everything. I took over stories. But for the first time ever, the Baron and I had to do all of it ourselves. And I think so far we haven't done too bad. So, that's a plus. All right, guys. Usually up next, I would introduce the Rambler Complaint Department, CM Styles. But as you know, if you were paying attention in the Discord, the man had surgery on his wrist. And as I pointed out in the start of the show, he went to be a product tester at a dildo factory. How do you go be a product tester when you just had surgery on your hand, Baron?
I mean, you don't have too many other options, right?
I guess. I mean, listen, Styles, good luck with your special assignment. Hopefully we'll see you back within the next month or so. Heal up, my friend. All right, up next, the other member of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd be, tonight, a couple of idiots talking to each other on a video call. Give it up for yourselves over there in the chat. Thank you. And listen, I want to thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone who has helped us achieve this milestone. We really could not have done this without the support of all of you that listen to us. I know sometimes we say some stupid stuff. I know that our show is not for everybody, and a lot of this is opinion, but so are most podcasters out there. We're just here having fun, and you guys make this fun for us by being here and listening to us and putting up with the shenanigans that we have going on our show. So thank you for that. I know Dizzy and Styles would like to thank you as well. If they were here tonight, they would say thank you. But for now, just know that Baron and I really appreciate everything you guys do, all the interactions, the chat comments, everything. If it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't still be here. So thank you.
I think we would, though, wouldn't we? I think we just like seeing ourselves on the camera, and this is a perfect time to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Max Magius. And that's all I got for the introduction. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Listen, I am your resident heel. I am the guy that is steering this ship. I don't know how that happened, but I'm hoping to. You know what? I don't even care what you think about how I'm steering the ship anymore. I'm having fun. I'm here with my boy Baron, and we may not both be in Denver, but if you know Baron, you know that he is enjoying life as though he is here in Denver. All right, guys. We have one more milestone I want to bring up real quick. This Saturday is Vince Russo's 65th birthday. And some of you know what that means. No more critiques on the WWE, according to him. Now, I'll get more into that later from the desk of Max Magius. For right now, let's kick off the show. Up first, our first story will be coming to us from Ringside News. WWE referee Daphne LaShawn involved in a terrifying car accident. Former WWE star Leon Ruff and his wife, current WWE referee Daphne LaShawn, were involved in a serious car accident, and the photos show just how bad it was. You guys can look those up for yourself. I'm not gonna disturb people with the pictures. On January 18th, 2026, Ruff took to Twitter to share the shocking news, posting images of their completely totaled vehicle, which appeared to be crushed from both the front and rear ends. The couple had just returned from the hospital at the time of the post, and while Ruff said he's doing okay, his wife is in rougher shape. Earlier today, my wife and I were rear-ended on the road. We just got home from the hospital. We were both sore and shaken up. I'm all right, but Aja is hurting more than I am. Unfortunately, the car is totaled. Ruff also made an appeal to the wrestling community for support, revealing that he's looking to pick up bookings in the aftermath of the accident. He ended the post with a reminder to fans and drivers everywhere. If anyone has any connections to bookers or upcoming shows, I truly appreciate the opportunity to pick up some extra bookings. Please drive safe and always wear your seatbelt. The incident shows that life outside the ring can hit just as hard, and Ruff's honesty about their injuries and financial needs make the situation all the more real. Wrestling fans across the industry have already begun sending their support. Here's hoping both Leon and Daphne make a full and swift recovery. I gotta say, we've been talking a lot about accidents and injuries lately, and most of those are the in-ring variety. It's sad to hear about this sort of thing. This is something that really could have been avoided. I can tell you in Colorado, if you rear end another driver, you are at fault, no matter what the situation was. It's an at fault state that way. So I don't know what led to the accident, but I'm hoping that both Leon and Daphne have a speedy recovery. Leon sounds like he's safe to get back in the ring, according to him, so his recovery may go a little bit quicker, Baron.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, the roads are just absolutely dangerous. I don't know how else to describe it. Accidents. This was in Colorado, right?
You know what? I don't know if that was here.
Oh, I was thinking you were saying it was in Colorado, but nonetheless, it's still, speedy recovery to them both, and hopefully they're doing well.
Yeah, something that really stuck out in that story to me real quick before we move on. They had just left the hospital when they got into the accident, if I'm not mistaken by what that said.
That's like some Seinfeld, Trailer Park Boys type of shit there.
And maybe I just misread it, or maybe it was kind of worded weird, and maybe it was really that they posted when they got home from the hospital. Oh, yeah, they just returned from the hospital at the time of the post. So that was my mistake. I misunderstood when I read. So real quick before I move on, Courtney and Sean, I'm very sad about the weekend. By the way, Baron, she's asking how your assignment went last week when you weren't here.
Yeah, I obviously I failed my assignment because I did not know what my assignment was. I assumed it was some type of smoke sesh or something along those lines. I'm sure I failed. I got entirely way too high.
I think you might have been out trying to congratulate Liv Morgan on becoming #1 contender, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I failed yet again.
To be fair, if you ever did succeed at your assignment, you probably would not be here doing the show the following week because you would probably have gotten a nice shiny pair of accessories on the wrists.
Absolutely. With technology and how things are becoming in prison, I could have maybe went live in prison. You never know. That might be a possibility.
Yeah, we might have to look into that in the future. If you keep trying to go congratulate Liv Morgan on stuff. So, Dustin, welcome to the show. Sean, I was referring to the Bears. That was a sad ending to the season. And Bo Nix suffered an injury in the next to last play of the Broncos game.
That's probably one of the worst things that's happened because he's not cleared for the next game, right? I mean, he's out.
No. In fact, Sean Payton has already said that Jarrett Stidham is ready to go, and he will be starting in the game against the Patriots.
Fuck, that might be worse. I mean, just not to get crazy on the rant of football, I do enjoy it. Everybody knows I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. But I was going for the Bears. I wanted to see a Midwest team kind of go the distance, and they were a great team. Probably one of the best fucking catches I've seen in the NFL playoffs in ages. But yeah, it was a little heartbreaking to see him lose like that. And poor fans that sat out there in that -degree weather, snow to watch that, to lose. Yeah. How do you? Oh, fuck. No thanks.
I really thought that the Bears would have the advantage in the snow. You know what? It's all right. We had a great season, and next year, I expect big things. All right, guys, let's talk about what we know about the Royal Rumble so far. So far, there are, including our 2 Rumble matches, the men's and the women's, we have a total of 4 matches. There is a career-threatening match. If Styles loses to Gunther, he will be forced to retire from in-ring competition, which we already know is happening at some point this year. I would be surprised if it happened this early. And then the other match that's announced besides the Rumbles, and we'll talk about who's declared that they're in the Rumbles here in just a moment, but the other match that's been announced is Drew McIntyre will be defending the undisputed WWE Championship, but we don't know against who just yet. We're going to find out this Saturday night's main event, when Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Sami Zayn compete in a fatal 4-way to see who faces Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm actually kind of hoping for Sami to be the one. I think I kind of really want to see Sami get a real shot at wait. We missed Sean's birthday?
Dude, that's unacceptable, Sean. I apologize on Max's behalf. I was there for you. Wishing you a great birthday. Damn that, Max.
You know what we're going to do right now? We are going to do something that probably should never happen on this show. But I'm going to do it anyway because for those of you out there that don't know, the reason that I have the name The GOAT on this show is Sean gave that to me. So I'm going to do this anyway. If your name is not Sean, you should probably cover your ears right now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my friend Sean. Happy birthday to you. And we're going to fix that right now so this doesn't happen next year on his birthday.
Oh, that was fantastic, and I hope Sean is still here to hear that, and he didn't run away. Sean, please come back if you're out there in the world. Please come back, sir. Rumble's going to be interesting this year, right? This is the first. Is this the first? out of like in the Royal Rumble we've had out of the country, or I mean, I know we've had Canada, right?
Ooh, you ask a very good question. Yes, my singing is greater than Vince Russo. Thank you, politically incorrect.
Yes, I will give Max that for sure. Absolutely, he's not wrong on that. Yeah, thanks a lot, Sean. We truly appreciate you. I don't think there has been, so this is going to be interesting, and I know there's going to be some, travel restrictions with some people probably. So it's going to be a very interesting Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the greatest Rumble ever, which
Oh,
was
I totally forgot about that.
different. That wasn't the Royal Rumble. That was a we affectionately refer to them around here as blood money shows. But that was technically a blood money show that they just won a battle royal on, and they called it the greatest Rumble ever. Outside of that, this will be the first ever Royal Rumbles to take place on something other than American soil. It's going to be interesting because you're talking about doing a women's battle royal in the full length get-ups that they have to wear for their matches. And I'm going to be honest with you, you get 2, 3, or 4 women in that ring in their full get-up that they have to wear when they do shows over there, and it's oppressively hot. I mean, it's already a warm country, even when we're experiencing winter, and now they've got to have this full-on head-to-toe covering, basically. But then you add in everybody else that's part of the Royal Rumble. I kind of feel bad for them. I unfortunately, our opinion doesn't carry much weight for something like this. I'll be honest, I am kind of looking forward to the Rumble either way because I'm looking at the people that have declared, and I know there's always some surprises. I'm kind of hoping one of those surprises this year. Well, Baron's not going to be as excited about that one as I am, but
that is a great fucking point, Sean. That I am, but it's going to be very fucking weird to have it on super early, not a late night PLE, especially the biggest one of the year, right? Second biggest. But, we sweet talk Max. We might be able to go live after the show.
I am willing to at least consider going live after Royal Rumble.
Depends how long it is. Sometimes they're too long to a point where it's just like, okay, I need a little break here. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. Do we know the start time?
I can get it for us. Give me 1 second.
But nonetheless, I think it's going to be. Yeah, we both hope he draws number 30. He's been building this up. Chicago Max has been brewing for quite some time to see him go overseas, get number 30, draw number 30, win the Rumble, go to headline WrestleMania. Now, that is what we are talking about here on the show. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. But to go back on, AJ Styles and Gunther match, that is going to be very interesting because we do know he's retiring sometime this year, right? And I do not see anyone else retiring AJ Styles than Gunther. That would have been my prediction to begin with.
Yeah, especially because the meme has been going around of Gunther working his way up that tower. But I just can't fathom
it happening this soon. Correct. I can't either. But with that little tease he had on the introductory to AMC, right, with TNA, I mean, this could be it. I don't want it to be.
I mean, I could see AJ winning and then Gunther making his life hell for the next few months and then doing this again. And I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again, but.
Well, this is going to be AJ Styles' 10-year, I had to look it up real quick, 10-year anniversary with WWE.
Yeah, the champ that runs the camp. He made his debut at the Royal Rumble. That was
2016. This is 10
yeah.
years now. So this could be it. And I mean, like, if this is, I'm with you because I don't think this should happen right now. But with that brewing up, 10-year anniversary, that tease over to TNA, I think our fans over in the chat have been right. He's going to be there at some point in juncture. This could be the chance. I hate to see him fucking go, but
I mean, I will say this. My understanding was that he was planning on retiring when his contract with WWE ran out. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. It's weird that we're doing this in January when he was talking about sometime this year.
it expires February 2026.
I guess this is probably it. He's probably
What?
it's weird, but I mean, we already know he's leaving. He's not re-signing another contract, and if his contract is up next month, this seems like how they're doing it. So,
Yeah,
if that's the case, AJ, we will talk about you on Ramblers Unleashed after the Rumble, and we will give you our usual wonderful send-off. It won't be nearly as good as what John Cena had for your intro for your match with him, but and thank you to Dustin Howell for pulling that up. Royal Rumble starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, which means it starts at noon my time. I would hate to be trying to watch it in Alaska.
What time would it be in Alaska? Yeah. That's Sean. I don't agree with that either. That's why I think this is very odd. Why would he retire in Saudi? But to me, this has to be. I don't know if there is another when the next PLE is.
By the way, that's 10 a.m. in Alaska is when it starts.
Ugh.
And what is our next PLE? Elimination Chamber is our next PLE. 2026 Elimination Chamber, February 28th is when that's taking place.
Yeah, I think for sure what's happening last match here. I think he does something over in TNA through the month of February while still under contract with WWE, right? I think that's the safest bet. And then, I'm hoping he does ride off to the sunset and we don't see him appear on another show or something like that. I think, he's had one hell of a career, right? Like this AJ Styles debuting 10 years ago was quite possibly one of the biggest debuts in WWE history. One of, right? So, and he's done a lot in his time in WWE. So I really hate to see him go in Saudi at Rumble, but it truly does make sense, sadly.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to talk about the names that have declared for the Rumble so far. But first, Dustin, did I not just hit you with a chair like an hour ago? Anyway, so far we have, it's a long story, Baron. I'll explain it to you after. So far we have 6 men and 7 women, 7 or 8? 8 women declared for their respective Royal Rumble matches. Last Friday on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes announced that he would be in the Royal Rumble, which I guess is why he's not getting a rematch at Royal Rumble against Drew. And then you have Gunther, Jey Uso, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta all announced on Raw last night. And then for the women, all of these came from Raw last night. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Asuka. And I would like to point out that I think a name is missing from this. Asuka's going to be in the Rumble. And Kyrie said last night that she would do whatever she could to make sure that Asuka won the Rumble. Wouldn't it be easier to do that if you are also in the Rumble? Why isn't Kyrie listed as an official entrant?
Good point. Don't know.
I think either way, at the end of the day, the surprise entrants are really what we all tune in for. Honestly,
Sadly, it really is, especially over time. Like, it didn't mean as much in the 90s or even earlier 90s, right? Like, at all in the 90s. I think we just enjoyed Royal Rumble for what it was. But I think over time now, it's we have to have like a surprise entrant, right? Like, that's what makes it fun. I think we're going to be somewhat shit out of a luck on this Rumble, just being in Saudi. There's going to be travel restrictions with some of these people.
And you're going to know that they're traveling.
Correct, right. This would be a hard one to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they could play it off as, well, Jericho was spotted in Saudi Arabia. Well, they always have wrestlers at ringside for the big pay-per-views, the big PLEs. So you could explain it away that way. And listen, I know you guys all want me to be the number 30 entrant, but I got to be honest with you, number 30 hardly ever wins. So I'm shooting for a different number, just for the record. Oh, that's a really good question.
Like, of all time?
I was at a Rumble party years ago. That was my buddy was hosting it, and we sometimes did it at his house, sometimes in my house, sometimes somebody else's house. But for that year, we were at his house. He now lives down in Houston. He works for an owner operator down there, like I work for one up here. And his wife watches wrestling with us, and she has some of her favorites, but she didn't really, it wasn't like she was a big enough fan that if we weren't around, she's watching wrestling. But on this particular occasion, we were sitting there and we were watching this particular Royal Rumble. And I'm going to tell you which one here in just a minute. And we made it to number 30 for the entrance. And the music hits. And this was a surprise return because this guy had been out with an injury. And nobody was expecting him back yet. I don't know why you're starting that already. I haven't gotten that far into conversation. But yes, it was the 2008 Royal Rumble. The number 30 entrant was John Cena. And my buddy's wife just hit the roof. She was so excited when that music hit. She was in the kitchen. And she come flying out and came unglued. And I got to be honest, part of the thing I like about the surprise entrance is the reactions around me when there's a surprise entrant. So I got to say, for me, that was probably the best surprise entrant because it got the biggest pop at any wrestling party I've ever been at. And I have been at a wrestling party at places like, we have a place out here called Red and Jerry's, or we used to. It's like a kind of like Dave and Buster's, but smaller. And they used to do our wrestling shows. And I've been at wrestling parties there. And I tell you, the pop that night for John Cena was bigger than anything I saw at Red and Jerry's.
I definitely would have said that is probably on top of my list as well. I mean, we did not know it was happening, but for the sake of just being different, I think we could. I mean, God, there's so many I can't even probably think of. Yeah, Sean pretty much took it right there. I was going to say Edge back in 2020 after being out for 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Making that return. That was big because I don't think any of us knew at that point in time he was returning.
No,
it wasn't anywhere.
We heard speculation that he might be cleared for an in-ring return, might being the operative word, but with the way WWE operates, that doesn't mean anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some bangers for sure. I think Edge and John Cena are the notable ones. I mean, anytime Chris Jericho shows up is always good. I think it's a strong possibility that he shows up this go around as well. So this could be another good pop. I just don't know how the fans are going to react in Saudi for Rumble. We're so used to a hardcore base. here in the States. So
The Saudi crowd is a little more reserved sometimes, but then there are points where they get loud, and you
is
just
it
never
piped in
know.
though? Is it piped
It
in?
might be. It might be, but you can actually see the camera picking up people doing the. I mean, it might be piped in, but it's possible that it's legit. But it's certain things like Sammy. When Sammy comes out, you can see the crowd reaction. But but for the most part, when you're watching anything WWE from Saudi Arabia, it feels a little more reserved because that's how they are. Now, I'm going to be honest. If you've ever watched anything from Japanese wrestling, they are very reserved in the audience in Japanese wrestling. It's very rare that you will see a huge emotional response to, say, John Cena being number 30 in the Rumble. They're very reserved and quiet and laid back. But Saudi Arabia gets a nice mix. I'm not going to lie. I still don't agree with this necessarily. John Cena told the UK during before he announced his retirement, I think, that he was gonna, if they could get loud enough that night while he was there, he was gonna go in the back and he was gonna talk to the powers that be. And remember that phrase; it's gonna come up later in the show. The thing it's referring to later in the show has nothing to do with this, other than being the same phrase. But he was going to talk to the people in the back about coming back and doing a major PLE there, one of the big four. And we're getting Saudi Arabia first. To me, it's just kind of weird. But, and it doesn't even end there. This is just the first event taking place in Saudi Arabia. Next year, we're getting WrestleMania from Riyadh. And we do get some PLEs from Germany, Australia, London gets some PLEs. Do they? I mean, we've seen Clash at the Castle come from Scotland. I just think that I would have gone, personally, I would have gone somewhere else. But I'm not going to mention that TKO wants that money. And what Dusty just said.
It's all about the money, right?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia pays top dollar to have it there. So
yeah, I'm sure they're paying great. It's going to put some food on the table for the wrestlers, so that's always great for the ones that really truly deserve it. So I mean, I get it; it happens. I just think those type of events in the United States benefit our states a lot, right? With the revenue and I'm itching for a Royal Rumble in St. Louis. I missed the last one that came in here, and I regret every second of it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for the next couple of years here with the two major PLEs being over there. I'm sure they're going to nail it, but it's going to feel weird watching a Rumble and wanting to drink a beer at 1 p.m.
Oh, yeah, noon. 1 p.m. your time.
1 p.m., right? Like that it does not bode well for me. So we'll see.
Listen, just keep one thing in mind. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Good point. Very good point.
So fun fact that some of you may not know about me. I am a huge, huge fan of Gordon Ramsay. I've watched most of his stuff. I'm not big on cooking shows, but I like Next Level Chef. I like Kitchen Nightmares, the new show Secret Service. I've been watching all these. Well, I've never actually spent much time watching Hell's Kitchen, and I just recently started watching Hell's Kitchen. I'm up to season 7 now. And I was sitting there today, and I was kind of wondering, I wonder how much people have to pay to go eat dinner on Hell's Kitchen during the competition. So I looked it up, and did you know that it's not like a typical restaurant? You can't just try and make a reservation and see if you can get yourself in to have dinner and listen to Gordon Ramsay yell at these contestants. Pretty much everybody that's there is either a paid actor, friends or family of the crew, or they're people that are actually, you have to fill out an application process to get brought in. It's not something that someone like you or I could easily do. And for me, that's kind of what I feel like these Saudi Arabia shows are. I feel like there's a good possibility that those fans didn't buy tickets. They were invited in because who paid for the show to be there? The Prince of Saudi Arabia. He can decide what he wants to do with the audience if he pays for the show, right? And I'm not judging that. Please don't anybody come at me like I'm being judgy about what he's doing. I'm just making a comparison, an honest opinion about what the audience may be made up of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I thought that was going to go down a different path, conversational wise, because I was going to bring up Gordon Ramsay's fucking restaurant. If you ever get the opportunity to go because it's good.
Yeah. From what I understand,
expensive.
Listen, there is a Hell's Kitchen in Vegas, which is, while it has the same name and owned by the same person, it's technically not related to the show. And I did see that if you go to Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas, you're looking at $100 to $150 per person to have dinner there. So make sure you have money and do not forget to tip.
Yes, and when you go into those restaurants, dress nice. Don't wear a hat. For a balding white male like myself, I've learned the hard way. Because there's actually one in St. Louis in the Four Seasons, in St. Louis, and one in Vegas as well, as where we went. Great place. I don't think some of those places are worth the price tag. I've had better steaks elsewhere, but yeah, it's kind of a cool thing if you ever get the opportunity to. Definitely check out his restaurant, and Bobby Flay's as well. He's got a good restaurant.
Actually, Baron, there is a restaurant that is, it might be a couple hours from you. I haven't really looked at a map for this in a while, but there is a restaurant that we used to go to all the time when I was a kid, and it's out there in Branson. It is known as the home of the throwed rolls. Lambert's. It is called Lambert's, and I loved going there. I remember I was a kid. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. We were in there one night. We had dinner, and Lambert himself, the old man, came around with a pot of mashed potatoes going around table to table. And he's like, potatoes, like, offering us a refill on our potatoes. And me, I had already had my dessert at that point. I'm done. I'm happy. I'm full. And if you know me, I eat a lot of food. So at that point, I must have been really full, but I thanked him and said, no. This man with a straight face looked at me and goes, "Oh, communist," and walked to the next table.
That sounds like Lambert's down there. Yeah, that sounds about right, Max.
Yeah.
That's like probably the most famous, it has to be the most famous restaurant in the state of Missouri, and it's well known for, if nobody is from Missouri or been there or heard of it, it's known of the, like Max said, the throwing rolls. And when he says throwing rolls, they throw the rolls at you.
Literally
throw them at you.
If they're walking past your table with rolls and you ask for a roll, the answer is no. They collar across to somebody on the other side of because there's a middle section of tables there. They haul over to one of them and they throw you your roll.
Yeah.
They won't hand you one. You have to get thrown it. You have to catch it.
Yeah. It's a staple. Good food. Good atmosphere. That's funny you brought that up because we were just there a few months back.
While we're talking about restaurants that a lot of people may not know about, I think everybody knows about this restaurant, but some people outside of the state of Colorado may think that it was made up for the TV show South Park. And I'm here to tell you, as a Colorado resident, Casa Bonita is a real place. Now, some really surreal stuff happened over the last couple of years, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the guys that made it famous with their show, now own Casa Bonita.
Okay.
Yeah, it just reopened not that long ago, a year or two ago. I think it was it might have been while I was still down in Texas, but yeah, if you guys get out to Colorado, check it out. It's always busy. There's some disputes going on with the entertainment staff right now, but I'm sure that'll be cleared up by the time you get out here. And if you're anything like Baron, there are dispensaries all around my area.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And we can make a day trip up to the mountains. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to move on now because I think that we kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent there.
Well, it wouldn't be a show without us going on to and the two people that tend to do that every week to week is myself and Max, and we're live together. It's bound to happen, and it's probably going to happen a couple more times, folk.
Listen, they left us unsupervised, told us to have a good show. What did they expect was going to happen? Okay,
They should have not shown us how to hit that fucking start live button.
Yeah. And yeah, Sean, you're right. We do cover just about every possible topic. I mean, by the end of the night, I may talk about my favorite movie being Goonies. We don't know. It may happen.
Oh shit.
All right, guys. Listen, I don't know about you, Baron, but I cannot wait for this guy to make his return so that you can all, every single one of you, I'm talking about all of you there in the chat and you, Baron, and our boys that aren't here tonight, Dizzy and Styles, so you can all see him in the same space as El Grande Americano, so you can see that he is not El Grande Americano. This next story comes to us from Ringside News, and it is a possible spoiler on Chad Gable's WWE return. Now, I am going to say before I start this story, when I saw that there was a spoiler on the Chad Gable return, I was like, he's coming back for the Rumble, isn't he? He's going to be a surprise entrant coming back from injury. That's not exactly what this article says. Chad Gable has been inching closer to a return, and now it looks like WWE might be ready to pull the trigger. PW Insider reports that there have been internal pitches for Chad Gable to return as early as this Monday's episode of Raw, which will air live from Toronto. While nothing has been officially confirmed by WWE, this marks the first concrete indication of a potential return date following Gable's months-long absence due to injury. Previously, it was reported that Gable was being looked at for a return around the time of Rumble, with some hope that he could be back even sooner. That timeline now seems to be aligning. Gable has been out of action since the summer of last year due to a shoulder injury that required surgery, an unexpected setback that disrupted WWE's creative direction at the time. His run as this article is lying. His run as El Grande Americano had been gaining momentum, and many fans saw him on the verge of a major push before the injury sidelined him. Since then, Gable has been training at the WWE Performance Center, preparing himself for an in-ring comeback. With the Rumble just days away, a surprise return on Raw could be the perfect setup heading into one of WWE's biggest events of the year. Before I comment on this story, if you have not seen Gable recently, go find a picture of him. I mean, this dude. I mean, the guy was already built before. I mean, I'm not even talking about back when he was American Alpha with Jason Jordan. I'm talking about, I mean, back then he wasn't quite what he was, but when he left, he was in good shape. I mean, he was in damn good shape. If you go look at his pictures now, the transformation is remarkable. He's almost unrecognizable because he has been putting on so much muscle as part of his rehab. Like I said before I read the article, I was hoping he was going to be a surprise entrant in the Rumble as a return from his injury. Now looks like we may see him next Monday instead, which still coincides. It's the Monday before Rumble. So, yeah, Sean just went and looked at the picture. You see? Max knows what he's talking about. Either way, I will say this right now. I'm going to go on record. Chad Gable will be in the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Baron?
Yeah, absolutely. No, actually, no. I don't think he will be. No.
You don't?
I think Americano will be in it.
Well, yeah, I'm already pretty sure Americano is going to be in it. him and Rayo and Bravo. And then Chad Gable's going to come out. You're going to see that Chad Gable is not El Grande Americano.
We shall see. I did see the video they posted of him. He looked like he was getting Triple H jacked, like it was in 2002. So maybe he'll come out with a jean denim jacket and blow the roof off on Monday, and nobody says or does anything. I really do like Chad Gable, though. I think he's great in the ring. A Kurt Angle kind of aura to him, right? He's funny, very fucking funny character in ring and outside of ring. So yeah, I'm happy to see him come back.
You remember when was it him or Jason Jordan that they used to joke was Kurt Angle's son? Either way, it should have been Gable that they made the jokes about. If it was
Jason Jordan, it was Jordan. They joked that was the son.
And Sean, I did not miss your comment. I'm working on a new episode of 8-Bit Unleashed. I'm gonna have to figure out how to set up myself because, unfortunately, Baron doesn't usually do the 8-Bit Unleashed. I mean,
Baron's never been invited to the 8-Bit.
No. When we did that first episode, I told you guys you were all invited to do the show with me. Well, with us, because I knew Styles was in because it was about video games. But I told you guys you were invited, but you were unavailable that night. If you want to be a part of 8-Bit Unleashed, you're in. I want you part of 8-Bit Unleashed.
Depends on what genre and what topic we're going to do in video games. So, like, I've video gamed my entire life Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all the way into PC gaming.
We're going to get into those.
Yeah.
We started with the pinball machine. Worked our way into arcade games and into Magnavox and Atari. Next episode, we're going to hit off on all the lawsuits that Atari got themselves involved in, which will lead into the 8-bit era, the 16-bit era, and etc.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you are definitely welcome. All right, so Jericho keeps making the news. This next story is from Ringside News as well. And big sign, Chris Jericho may not return to pro wrestling so soon. So I hope this does not dash all your hopes that he might appear at the Rumble, because I still don't know. There is a lot of talk about Chris Jericho right now, and for good reason. We've received internal updates on what Chris Jericho is up to, but nothing official has broken. His busy schedule will certainly make any sort of return to the ring difficult. As of January 14th, the idea of Chris Jericho showing up in WWE again feels less like an if and more like a when. His contract with All Elite Wrestling was thought to have expired on December 31st, making him a free agent for the first time in years. A full-time WWE return happening right now doesn't quite line up with reality. Jericho isn't easing into retirement hours or clearing his calendar for a nostalgia run. He's about to be very, very busy, and not just in a wrestling ring. His band Fozzy kicks off Eyes on You tour in February with dates stacked across the UK and beyond. And that's not a weekend hobby. That's a full touring commitment that eats weeks at a time. That doesn't mean wrestling is off the table. Rumors have pointed to a possible WWE appearance as early as January of this year, while others continue to float TNA wrestling as a viable option. And I'm going to bring something up about TNA here in just a minute. Taking all this into consideration, it is possible for Chris Jericho to make the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia on January 31st. That being said, if he would return during that Saudi show, he wouldn't be able to stay as any sort of regular on WWE television for at least a month due to his Fozzy commitments. Only time will tell what Chris Jericho does next. The rumor mill is churning. With his name attached, that will undoubtedly bring a lot of attention whenever the 55-year-old shoe-in Hall of Famer shows up next in the pro wrestling world. And actually, I'm looking at the tour dates, and damn. We're talking 6th, 7th, 8th of February, 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. Most of his dates are back to back while he is over there.
Where is it going to be at?
Huh?
Where is the tour start?
It starts in the UK. The first stop on the tour is Brighton, England, and then Margate, England, Manchester, Norwich, Bradford, Nottingham. Hey, I would love to go to Nottingham. Somebody find the sheriff for me. I want to meet him. Then they're heading over to Glasgow, Scotland, and back down to Newcastle, England, over to Cardiff, Wales, back to Torquay, England, then over to Southampton, England, London, England, and Wolverhampton to finish out that opening part of the tour.
And that starts, what was the date? The first concert date?
The first concert date is Friday, February 6th.
I don't think this is a shoe-in. I don't think he shows up at Rumble. There's no way. Rumble's the 31st, right? Yes.
Rumble's Sorry.
Rumble's no, you're fine. Rumble's the 31st in Saudi. He's got kids, got a wife. Is he going to travel back to the United States after that for a couple days and then travel to the UK? I just don't know how that works, or if that works for him at all. I think that's one hell of a traveling date for him, for sure. But good for him. I'm glad Fozzie's getting some concerts in.
So here's the other thing I want to bring up, and it's been done by other people now. And Adam Cole does make the list, even though his top title was the NXT title. But only a handful of people, I think I counted like 7 or 8 names, have held both the WWE top title, or NXT in Cole's case, and the AEW top title. Jericho has the possibility of being the first person to ever do that and add the TNA championship as well. So the rumors that he might go to TNA, I think, hold a little bit of water with that.
Okay.
So I think that's a possibility. And if I was Jericho, I would look into that because, listen, we have talked extensively about how great John Cena is. Ended his career as a Grand Slam champion, 17-time heavyweight champion, stepping past Flair by 1, even though depends on which count you go with for Flair. Ric Flair agrees that 16 is the official count, but he has multiple other heavyweight titles under his belt on top of that. But to be the first person to ever hold a WWE top title, an AEW top title, and a TNA top title, I think is something Jericho should strive to do because I think that's phenomenal and may never be repeated in our lifetimes.
I mean, on paper, if you were just a casual wrestling fan, I think Jericho has just as good rap sheet as Cena for the most part, right? Maybe not close to 16 world titles, but he's done it all everywhere.
Yeah. And he's carried a brand. I mean,
he was a GOAT before anybody else was a GOAT, right? Like he was classified as the GOAT, and I mean he definitely backed it up. I would love to see that happen. I think that'd be great. I'd love to see him at least one more run back in, WWE as well. So give it to us. We've been on record of talking about AEW for quite some time now, right? I just felt like he was a little diminished over there. He had the learning tree really killed his character, if you ask me. I don't know. I just was not interested in that at all. So coming back, and man, I think it would be awesome if he was paired up with fucking Paul Heyman and Braun and them. I think that would be great. The Vision, yeah. I think it would be badass.
I think that I'm not saying Seth was a necessity to make the Vision work, but I think Seth's presence lent a little bit of credibility because everyone else was unproven at the time, with the possible exception. Well, Logan really hadn't joined yet, but and look, Braun and Bronson are great in the ring, but they're still green. Is an industry term. They're still green as far as main roster goes. So Seth Rollins kind of gave a little bit of credibility, being the veteran that he is. And I'm not saying that they absolutely need that, but it couldn't hurt to have a a veteran as part of their crew, not just Heyman, but like an in-ring veteran, because Heyman to me is the GOAT manager of all time. I mean, you can tell a story off that man's face during a match, and you don't even need to see what's going on in the ring or hear the commentary team.
Oh, I agree. I think that's I think that would work out for him. I totally agree that they're a little green, but I think if anybody could fill the role of Seth Rollins, it would be Jericho, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
absolute
think
goat.
that would be great. I like that idea much better than I liked the thought of Brock Lesnar joining them full time. Listen, I know you're over
Look
there.
who's in the chat. Look who's in the chat, folks.
I know
Let's
you're
put 'em
over
on the
there in the
screen.
chat, so I just got to know, how was your first day product testing at the dildo factory? All right, guys, let's talk about our next story. It's a programming note, and we're going to be quick about it. It's not really a surprise, although this isn't what usually causes it. SmackDown will be moving to Sci-Fi for 2 weeks. SmackDown is making a short-term move, and fans need to adjust their remotes. The February 13th and February 20th edition of SmackDown will temporarily shift from USA Network to Sci-Fi due to NBC Universal's coverage of the Winter Olympics. Despite the network change, both episodes will stick to the usual 8 p.m. Eastern start time and continue running for 3 hours. The switch comes as the Winter Games take over USA Network from February 6th through 22nd, with events being broadcast from Lombardy and Northeast Italy across NBC, USA, and other partner platforms. SmackDown will return to USA Network on February 27th, just one night before the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event, making that episode a key stop on the road to WrestleMania. While the move is only for 2 weeks, the timing is important as WWE continues to ramp up its major storylines heading into one of the biggest stretches of the year. And this is not the first time this has happened. For years, the Westminster Kennel Dog Club show would preempt Raw, and Raw would have to move to it changed. Sometimes it was Sci-Fi. Sometimes they actually went to one of the news networks for Raw. And then this is nothing new. This is something that happens. It's not usually the Olympics that do it, but it does happen. So just make that note on your calendar. Actually, Baron, you gonna watch the Olympics this year? They're in Italy.
I'm sure I will. I try to get into the Olympics. I get into it for a short period of time, and then it's like kind of gone, right? Like I lose track of it. But yeah, I'll probably watch it.
There are some years that I will turn on the Olympics and I'll just sit here and veg to them all day. And then there's some years I watch about 5 minutes. I'm like, next channel, please.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I really get into the Winter Olympics, especially like when hockey and stuff. And I'm not a huge hockey fan at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. But in this household, someone is from Finland, and that is hockey is their life, right? So we tend to watch that from time to time.
Finland, Canada, those two words are interchangeable in that sentence that you just said. Hockey is life. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go from the desk of Max Magius. Oh, yes. And I'm going to tell you right now, the cover photo is completely relevant to the desk of Max Magius this week. Russo's 65th birthday is this upcoming Saturday. So first, happy birthday, Russo. Now, I cannot discount the fact that you are a legend in this industry. I mean, you are Vic frickin' Venom, Vicious Vincent, the powers that be. Told you that phrase would come back up tonight. You have done so much for this industry. Some good, some, well, not as good. Recently, though, you have been very critical of the booking in WWE. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things to criticize, but you're taking it to Bret Hart talking about Goldberg levels. You have this weird obsession with bad-mouthing the WWE in its creative direction. Look, I'm not innocent here. I criticize Tony Khan a lot, but I think his diminishing crowd sizes back me up. You? Wow. Are you jealous that Triple H is having success and you have only been moderately successful since leaving WWE? I know you tried some of the same stories in WCW, and when you went there, they just didn't hit as well as they did in WWE, probably because, Fans saw you recycling stuff. Or how about when you tried the same thing in TNA? I know you worked for a Fed local to me here in Colorado for a bit, and now you're no shade to the clowns. JCW has done a lot of good for friends of mine, but now you're with JCW. At the end of the day, you just kind of come across as bitter. So I hope you keep the promise you've made and you really are done with talking about WWE programming as of this weekend. With all sincerity, happy birthday and good luck in your future endeavors. Would you like to share a thought before we move on, Baron?
we're holding them. We're holding them to it. Max is, and let's hope to God we don't hear him talk about it at all anymore.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. If he does not stick to his word that he is done criticizing the WWE, just know for the next several months, from the desk of Max Magius, we'll be criticizing Vince Russo. Just so we're all on the same page here.
Only seems fair.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right, guys. The Ring Boys scandal saga is continuing. Plaintiffs, and this comes from Fightful.com. Plaintiffs in Ring Boy lawsuit file motion to continue using John Doe pseudonyms. Claims Vince and Linda McMahon opposed. WWE takes no position. Before I start the article, are we surprised that the WWE is taking no position on this right now? I'm not.
Not at all.
An update on the Ring Boy lawsuit. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics and Post Wrestling provided a new update on the Ring Boy lawsuit. The plaintiffs suing WWE, TKO, Vince McMahon, and U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon filed a motion last week to continue using John Doe pseudonyms. Now, before I go any further here, I understand why you're suing Vince and Linda. I even understand naming WWE in that lawsuit. I don't agree with naming TKO. I have my issues with TKO. However, TKO was not involved in WWE in any way when all of this happened. So I think going after TKO, I don't fully agree with that. I mean, I kind of understand that as the parent company of WWE, you might have to name them, but I don't think that they should be named in this lawsuit. I think they should be named, not sued. I think that's the word the phrasing I'm looking for. But anyway, the plaintiffs allege they were sexually abused as minors due to negligence by the defendants in the suit. The plaintiffs added that the defendants have refused to agree to their condition of keeping their identities away from the public. Here is an excerpt from the write-up. The plaintiffs suing WWE, TKO, Vince McMahon, and U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon filed a motion last week to continue using John Doe pseudonyms. The plaintiffs, who allege they were sexually abused as minors due to the defendants but their names are not known to the public. U.S. District Judge James K. Bredar to keep their names out of public filings and maintain a protective order limiting how identifying information may be shared during the case. The plaintiffs say Vince and Linda McMahon each expressly oppose their continued anonymity, while WWE and TKO take no position, which makes sense. WWE and TKO are under new management. The defendants did not respond to requests for comment from Post Wrestling, including questions about whether the plaintiff's characterization of their positions is accurate and the reasoning behind their positions. First off, like I said, I know you probably have to name them because they're now the parent company of WWE, and you have to name WWE because that was the company that this happened in. But I think TKO and WWE are right that they're really taking no position on this because new management, new ownership, those did not have really anything to do with that. Baron, did you hear me through that whole thing?
You froze a little bit. I thought it was from my end, to be frank with you. I was like, what the hell's happening here? You know, the high guy over here. You
Yeah.
just let shit roll. You froze a little bit, but I mean, I think we all got the gist of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll break it down real quick. The plaintiffs, the ones that are filing the lawsuit, want to remain anonymous in the public filings, including identifying characteristics, whereas Vince and Linda do not want them to remain anonymous. TKO and WWE are taking no position. Now, as I was saying, TKO and WWE are under new management, new ownership, all that. So it makes sense to me that they would take no position on this. And Vince and Linda, I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I agree with the plaintiffs on this. I really do. I don't think we need their names public. I don't think that we need to know who they are. I don't think it's a need. Am I curious? Maybe a little bit, but I don't think that information is relevant to the public. I think it's only relevant as this case is concerned. What do you think, Baron?
Well, I mean, you always want to protect the plaintiff, right?
Right.
I mean, like that's normally the goal. So, like, yeah, I wouldn't want it to be released. Would it be? Do we want to know? Kinda. I think people do, but like, I totally agree. Keep them safe. And I really hope we get to some resolution here and figure out what's happening with this entire case, right? Along with other cases out there in the world, because we don't just deal with that, right? As human beings. So, yeah.
And I know we've touched on the Ring Boy scandal a couple times, but we don't talk about it a lot. That's a couple of reasons. I just want to make this clear for those of you that are watching our show that may have never seen it before. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you've seen it multiple times. And you don't know why we don't talk about it a lot. Number one, we don't see a lot of the stories pop up as I'm going through and looking for stuff. It's rare that I see something on this. But even then, while I feel it deserves coverage, and I feel like the victims deserve to have the information out there about what happened to them, whether we know who it is or not, I also feel like this is not necessarily one of those stories that it's a disturbing story. No matter how you look at it, this is a disturbing situation. And while injuries and stuff like that can be disturbing, I try to avoid stuff of this nature if I can. I felt it was important that we get this update so that we know that court proceedings are proceeding. And you may or may not hear anything on it out of us for a little while, even if there is news on it. But know that I am following it, and I am being kind of picky about when we talk about it, just so everybody knows. So, all right. I hope this next story is a kayfabe injury and not a legit one. From Fightful, Javon Evans' bout stopped on Raw due to injury. Javon Evans suffered an injury against El Grande Americano on the January 19th episode of WWE Raw. Evans was on the outside when the referee made the decision to stop the bout. Evans was grabbing at his shoulder and was helped to the back by officials. Javon Evans officially joined Raw on the January 5th episode after being touted as a free agent. Evans was previously with NXT. You don't want to hear about injuries. You really don't. There are so many people that are currently out with an injury. Obviously, Chad Gable, we just talked about him. He's about to make his return. I hope this is kayfabe. I hope this is not a legit injury, especially in this case because Bouncy was just getting started. He was just making his mark on Raw, and I was really looking forward to seeing him in the Rumble next weekend. Baron?
Yeah, this is one of those unfortunate events. I think he is actually injured. I haven't read anything about it being kayfabe or anything along those lines. I think he's legitimately injured. It's not surprising. We see injuries quite often, more than we should be. But I agree. He just literally got called up to the main roster. Like, what, 2 weeks ago?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, he was appearing on Raw for a couple weeks prior, but January 5th was his official, signed the contract, I'm a member of the Raw roster, etc. and that was 15 days ago now. So yeah, 2 weeks basically.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, and that really does slow down your momentum you have when you go to the main roster, and that could hurt you a lot. But obviously, we hope he's healthy and it's not anything really serious. Shoulder injury is not something to fuck with, obviously, But I mean, these wrestlers, fuck, dude, these wrestlers come back so damn fast from injuries. It's fucking insane anymore. Like I don't get it. So I'm hoping for a speedy recovery with him. Did you read somewhere that it could have been kayfabe?
No, but after more than 20 years involved in the business in some form or fashion, I have learned that it's not always what we think when we see an injury. They had I think it was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor on NXT. I may be wrong, but they had to keep pausing the match to determine whether the match could continue, and so that had to be storyline. Otherwise, the match would have ended for sure. But even if they ended, it might be kayfabe. And so I'm hoping. I'm not saying that I know or have heard anything. I'm just saying I'm hoping that this is just a kayfabe storyline injury, and we see Javon back in time for the Rumble. But unfortunately, the sad reality is there's a good chance that it's not. But I can hope, and I'm hoping against hope that that's all it is. Real quick before we go any further, I reached out to Rob Reisen this last week, and we had a little bit of a chat about how I mentioned him on the show last week, and I mentioned his book. I had intended to have Baron put the link down in the show description on YouTube. If he can edit the show description, I may have him add it here in a few minutes. But listen, if you're passionate about the business, and I am, I do this wrestling show with friends of mine because I love this business. I'm passionate about it. I like talking about it. I like having some sort of involvement in it. But if you're passionate about the business, please go find his book, order it, and read it. It is called In Demand Indie. And even if you're not looking to get in the business, read it. It's got great information. Now, I say that I don't have my copy yet, but I know Ryzen. I know him well enough to know that it's got good information, and whether you're wanting to get into the business or not, it is definitely worth your time if you have a love of the business. I'm sending the link over to Baron right now. If he can edit the description on YouTube, I'll have him add it there. I'll also throw it in the Discord for anybody that's in the Discord. But please check this book out. It's a Ryzen thing. You got to just understand that I'm big on this guy. He made his brand. For me, what he has done for himself is similar to Matt Cardona. He basically built himself up and did an amazing job of it. So please check out his book. I sent the link over to Baron. I'm about to drop it in the Discord for those of you that are there.
Yeah, you can check that down in the YouTube page here too. It should be in there. Bear with us. We are running this ship without the tech savvy men. One's got 0 hands, and the other one is on a really big assignment. So they got the stoner
huge assignment
and the heel going at it.
Yeah. Did they not take that part into consideration? I mean, really, you left the stoner and the heel running the show. What were you thinking?
What the fuck is going on around here?
Oh, but yeah, it's in the Discord. It's going to be in the YouTube chat. Or in the description. I will make sure to remember that we post it next week before we actually go on when he's actually setting up. If you haven't read it, check it out. I'm going to order mine tomorrow night as soon as I get paid. Because I can't wait to get my hands on it and read it. It's just one of those things. It's really worth the time. Trust me, I promise. Listen, in this business, there are some things that are inevitable. Your career is going to come to an end one way or another. Whether you do it the John Cena way and you go out on your terms, whether the business forces you out, whether an injury forces you out, you're at some point your career will come to an end. That's one guarantee in this line of work. There's not really much else in the way of guarantees. However, if you spend long enough in the business, there is one other guarantee, and that is you're probably either going to be betrayed by somebody that you're close to, or you're going to betray somebody you're close to. And I'll tell you right now, betrayal's a bitch. Our next story comes to us from Fightful. Natalya betrays Maxine Dupree, costs her women's Intercontinental title match on Raw. Natalya discards Maxine Dupree. Following the opening segment between Gunther and AJ Styles, Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree headed to the ring for their 6th televised contest since August of 2025. This match was once again contesting for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the title that Lynch regained from Dupree earlier this month. Due to the controversial finish of that match, Dupree was accompanied to the ring by Natalya. The finish of the match actually involved Natalya as she put Lynch's foot on the rope during a critical pinfall attempt from Dupree. Moments later, Lynch planted Dupree with the manhandle slam to score the win. Natalya did not let up after the match, further attacking Dupree and holding her in a sharpshooter before the referee broke things up. So, first off, like I said, betrayal is inevitable. It's going to happen. You spend long enough in the business, and you're going to find yourself with your team of Otis and Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree turning on you unceremoniously. You're going to find Big E turning his back on you. I mean, you're going to find Shawn Michaels putting you through a barbershop window at some point. There's going to be betrayal. If you're in the business long enough, you will be somehow involved in betrayal. There's no two ways about it. It's part of what makes drama so amazing. For your Golden Globe consideration. My only disappointment, because I'm going to be honest with you, I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was fun. I'm looking forward to where they go from here. Are they both going to be in the Rumble? Are they going to have a match? Saturday Night Main Event, Raw, Elimination Chamber? I don't know. I'm looking forward to where they take this because Natty has built her up and taught her how to be better in the ring. She had her in the dungeon teaching her. And if you've never heard about the dungeon, I'm not sure you're on the right show because I know that we do teach you guys stuff from time to time. But if you have never heard of the dungeon, is this the right place for you? I mean, the dungeon is only the most famous wrestling school in pro wrestling history. It produced some of the greatest people to ever set foot in a wrestling ring, most of whom had the last name of Hart or were married to someone named Hart or were a descendant of someone that was married to somebody with the last name of Hart. And this can only get good. I mean, when you get taught by the best, you become the best. And so I look forward to where this goes. My only disappointment is that they had Dungeon Dolls shirts made. They were working as the Dungeon Dolls in house shows and on the tours. And yet broke them up before we got to see them work as a team on the main roster. That's my only disappointment. I was kind of looking forward to seeing the Dungeon Dolls in action, at least for a little bit. But I do want to see where this goes. What about you, Baron?
I'm a little indifferent here. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just feel like Natty gets pulled in so many directions, and she does her best to like go with it, right? And I totally agree. I feel like they should continue that. It's just, it's hard. I love Natty. I want to make sure everybody knows this in the chat, especially Max. I love Natty. I just don't know what the fuck we're doing with her. Ever.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm kind of hoping that this will lead to something with Natty, something that we don't have to wonder what they're doing with her. We will actually know what they're doing with her. That's my hope.
I do too, and I've been wanting this for a very long time. I still just get very confused with what's happening with her. I love Natty. She's one of the best in the ring. I just don't know. I'm just confused every time I watch it.
Yeah, I will have to see where this goes. I'll be honest. I'm really happy to see her back. We haven't seen much of her on Raw in a very long time. So the fact that she has made an appearance on Raw, I feel like it's time. I think it's time for her return. I honestly think that it's time we see something. The WWE needs to actually, and for so long they've kept her stagnant. I hope that now we see something come out of this return.
Yeah, I agree. I did throw a poll up there for any chatters in the chat. We have a poll going right now. Should we be nominated for Golden Globes? I'm hoping to see 100% yeses in the chat. That'd be grand.
Well, you got my yes vote.
Yes! 2 votes, yes.
All right. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about... We're going to go into Baron's Buzzkill. That's what we're going to do right now.
Let's kill the fucking buzz.
And real quick, before we do that, Sean, don't think I missed what you said. And it's already added into the rotation. We'll get to that in a minute. All right. Tonight's Baron's Buzzkill is all about the one, the only, R-Truth. I actually have 2 stories I need to read real quick, and then I'll turn it over to you, Baron, okay? All right. Up first, both these stories come from Fightful. R-Truth on being told his WWE contract was not going to be renewed. I took it as I was released. I was hurt. R-Truth comments on his WWE contract not being renewed in a sneak peek of WWE Unreal Season 2. In the middle of last year, one of the year's biggest stories centered around Truth, who tweeted out that he had been released from his WWE contract. While this was not technically accurate, the company was set to let Truth go upon his contract expiring until a massive fan outcry earned Truth a new deal, returning at WWE Money in the Bank last year. While speaking in a sneak peek of WWE Unreal Season 2, R-Truth spoke about his contract not being renewed, admitting that the news hurt and that he had initially taken it as him being released. I got the call that my contract wasn't going to be renewed, and I'm like, so am I released? Am I? I took it as I was released. I was hurt. The second story, Triple H, R-Truth immediately went out on social media and said he was fired, which he was never fired. Triple H clarifies R-Truth's status during his contract talks with WWE last year. In mid-2025, WWE fans were shocked to hear from R-Truth that he had been released by the company. However, in later reports, it would be clarified that Truth had been alerted that WWE were not planning to re-sign him upon his contract expiring, leading to a large fan campaign to get Truth back with the company. While speaking in a WWE Unreal Season 2 sneak peek, Triple H discussed the situation involving R-Truth, clarifying that Truth had never not been with the company during the discussions. We got to a point in Truth's run where, I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep doing that. It was fun for a minute. Where his contract was coming up. When you're dealing with contracts and money and you're very far apart in the numbers and communication breaks down, it's very easy for both sides to read into the communications differently. Okay, well, if you're not going to come to us, then your contract is at the end. We're not going to renew. Knowing that hopefully maybe this will force his hand to say, well, hold on a second. Can we talk? He immediately went out on social media and said he was fired, which he was never fired. Contrary to popular belief, he was never not under contract with us. Road Dogg also made a comment on this that is in the Unreal Season 2 trailer. And he said that while he loves R-Truth and felt bad, this was a good business decision on WWE's part, partially because of Truth's age, etc. But here's the thing. If you tell me we're not going to re-sign your contract, even if it's because we're not coming to terms on where we need to meet to make this work, to me, that's as good as you're fired, right, Baron? And then I want you to go into whatever you think about this. I just want your thoughts on that question.
No, I totally agree. I seen this pop up the other day on the old X Twitter feed, which you can find me, and I don't have it in my tag because I don't know what the fuck happened, folks. I might be able to fix that here shortly. But yeah, I thought this was very weird. To me, it sounded like a kind of cop-out moment with the WWE, right?
Right.
Trying to pivot a different direction and blame someone else so they didn't get any fallback, because we know what happened when they did release him, or his contract ended, whatever the case may be, because the fans really rallied behind him and did that, right? Now, on the flip side, to really kill the buzz of everything, what in the fuck has happened since he returned? And the momentum, they just absolutely came back with John Cena, right? And nothing has happened really since. When Road Dogg says it was a smart move for age reasons and things along those lines, I kind of get what he's saying. But the biggest thing is they just haven't used him. They re-signed. The thing that pissed me off, they re-signed him, got him back for the sole reason of the social media that happened when he was gone, right? Had nothing to do with the character or the human being that he was. And that's what pisses me off the most. They did it for the shock factor. They did it for the money, and they haven't done a fucking thing since then. And that irritates me more than anything. And I almost wish he would have got released, because still at his age, he's still fantastic. And he could have done some things at other promotions and been okay. So yeah, I feel like it was a WWE cop-out moment. And when does that premiere?
Today or tomorrow.
Is it out now?
I haven't been on Netflix today.
I'm getting on Netflix for right now.
Today.
It did
All
start
5
today.
episodes are available on Netflix.
Okay, so we might get some deeper information from that. Yeah, Sean, they definitely dropped the fucking ball, right? They dropped the ball with a lot of things, and they drop a lot of, like, it's not about like it's just about the shock factor with people, right? And that's what really, really irritates me with the groups, is they just do it for the money, man. And I think they did this with R-Truth, and it's not benefiting them at all. Welcome back.
Thanks. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know.
And yeah, they do drop the ball with a lot of people, and I feel like there's so much more they could be doing with Truth. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy that they brought him back.
Oh, 100%. Let me make sure I reiterate that I'm glad he is back. Absolutely.
I did love the whole shtick with him and the balls during the last time his tournament. That was phenomenal. And even after the tournament, they had him come out and accuse Miz of cheating and gave him the ball that, and it was Joe Hendry's name that was in that. I loved it.
Yeah.
Listen, all I'm going to say is WWE, please do something with him. I mean, Don't just make it work the contract you gave him, but let's do something. Make it work.
He's one of the most entertaining people on the roster, if not the most entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's comic relief, but come on. Sometimes that's what we need, especially now. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to some TNA news. And I actually only had one story from TNA prior to Sean saying something, but we now have two stories from TNA to cover real quick. Up first from Fightful, Daria Ray says she signed a 6-month deal with TNA Wrestling. Daria Ray, formerly Sonya Deville. Oh, Cora Jade and Sonya Deville have both signed with TNA. And now Daria Ray has revealed that it's a 6-month deal that she's under. This article doesn't mention what how long Cora Jade's deal is, but she is mentioned in the article. Daria Ray made her TNA debut at the Impact on AMC Premiere, acting as the new authority figure with the nickname Suit. Ray has stepped away from wrestling after departing WWE in February 2025 when her contract was not renewed. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Ray revealed she signed a 6-month deal with the promotion. I signed a 6-month deal. I plan on seeing it through. I'm having a lot of fun. Everything is going great so far. As long as it is a continuously mutual beneficial situation, meaning I'm adding value and I feel good about what I'm getting in return, then I don't see why it wouldn't continue long term, she said. Ray said that she initially spoke with Carlos Silva at Invicta in April 2025, but wasn't ready to return to wrestling just yet. Ray's first order of business was to reveal that Elena Black, Cora Jade and WWE, had signed with TNA. So basically, she came out on TNA and she introduced Elena Black right away. That's what she did in her capacity as the new authority figure for TNA. And I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what I think yet, especially because the name of her thing is Suit. I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet, but we'll see where this leads. At least she found herself a new home after leaving WWE early last year.
Yeah, and I'm happy for both of them getting on somewhere. TNA is a great place to be at. I think that's good for both of them. I don't understand that either, right? The name. Yeah, weird. But both are great in the ring, and I think they'll benefit TNA big time. Yeah,
I don't watch a lot of TNA. I may start watching it now that it's on AMC, but
yeah. And well, since we're on the topic real quick, because I came across it real quick, and I don't want to talk too deep into it. So, do you have the numbers of their debut episode?
Give me a second, because
I have them. So you don't have to look it up. I can talk about it.
Yeah, Dizzy sent us the article earlier. I just hadn't pulled it up yet. But there was some earlier today. There was a report that due to a data error, they weren't able to tell us the actual numbers at that time. Apparently the early reports claimed the show only drew 95,000 viewers. But apparently it drew 173,000 overnight viewers with a 0.04 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic.
Yeah, let's talk about it for a second. Because that's what I'm seeing too. And that's what's been reported, 170,000.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Shut up, I'm talking.
SUIT.
Still, and it's still goofy as hell.
Yeah. I think 173,000 might be an improvement for TNA, which shows that they are climbing back up the ladder. We're still rebuilding down there. It's not like it's going to happen overnight, but 173,000 viewers may seem low, but considering where TNA was 5 years ago, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think that anytime any numbers are being spewed out in wrestling, I don't think it matters, right? But I
Right.
believe this is the first time their numbers have been able to be public, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe because I don't think that they've had. I don't know because I swear I've heard talks of low ratings for them in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
considering what channels they were on, it's possible
it
those
didn't.
channels weren't getting tracked.
Right, exactly. That's my point too. Where I mean, like AMC is a reputable network, right?
Yeah.
So I am curious with those numbers how that reflects. And the biggest thing is like we talk about ratings, and really, dude, we both can agree wrestling's wrestling at the end of the day. If you enjoy it, watch it. Who fucking cares about the ratings? Nobody cares about the ratings. We talk about it just to talk about it. But to me, it's just insane to see the ratings from, I mean, TNA is the top 3 promotion, right? Like, I mean, it is simple as that. To see the separation from that to AEW to WWE,
Yeah.
it's that when I seen those numbers, and it's not diminishing or anything along that, because I think they're putting on a very good product. I really do. And I think those numbers are gonna jump, and I think it's gonna be great for them. But it's just mind-boggling to me to see where they're at number wise, and then look at the head of the table, right? Like that is a massive difference.
You said head of the table. I had to acknowledge him.
Yeah. I plan everyone to point their fingers up. It's just interesting me, and that's the only thing I would point out because I think they're put on a great product. That number is going to go up, undoubtedly. It's just when I see that and I see WWE, it's just fucking crazy to me, the difference.
Yeah. I will say this. I think that between their partnership with WWE and their partnership with AMC, I think we're going to see great things on TNA on the rating side. But I want to touch on something that Baron said a minute ago. Yes, I am critical of the AEW product. I have been critical of the TNA product in the past. And I do criticize some stuff in WWE. It doesn't always seem like it, but I do. At the end of the day, I'm not telling you what to watch and what not to watch.
Never.
I'm giving my personal opinion on it. That's all I'm doing. If you prefer AEW over WWE, great. Watch it. Enjoy it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you, no, you should be watching WWE. I know we cover mostly WWE, but that's because that's what we prefer ourselves. And I want to make it clear that just because I am critical of the AEW product week in and week out doesn't mean that I am trying to tell you don't watch that. You need to stop watching that because of how bad it is. Listen, I want more people to watch AEW. I want AEW to become legitimate competition again. I want TNA to become. I would love to see a 3-way comp for the top spot. I would love to see that. The fact of the matter is, the reality is that right now, neither AEW nor TNA is quite on that level. TNA is working their way up. And unfortunately, and as I said from the desk of Max Magius, the ticket sales for AEW are backing up the things I am saying about AEW. That doesn't mean stop watching AEW. It doesn't mean, oh, Max said we shouldn't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the product doesn't do it for me the way it does for you. If you enjoy it, I'm happy for you. At the end of the day, I am about enjoying pro wrestling. If you enjoy it and it happens to be AEW, that's great. I love that. If it happens to be TNA, that's great. I love that. If it's that Fed out in California that we were talking about a couple months ago after the assault by Rampage's son, get off my show. You don't need to be giving that company any more of your money.
Concours on that one. Yeah, and I only bring it up just because it's very interesting to see the separation of because to me, when it comes to wrestling, I feel as if I know there's a big casual base, and I think this proves the case of it. I have always been in the assumption, especially in today's era of wrestling, that wrestling is a core base. And I always assume like a good portion of WWE fans are watching AEW, and TNA, New Japan. But the more they release these numbers, it's just fucking crazy to me to see the difference between TNA, AEW, and WWE. Because like it's not even close.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Like, even two of those promotions combined to
Right.
AEW. But nonetheless, great product. They're doing wonderful things. Like Max said, that number will rise for sure over time. And I think they found a good network. I am able to dive into it and watch it instead of having to go to YouTube or whatever the case may be to watch their product. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to. No, I promised we had one more TNA story tonight, and we're going to do that. And before I read this story, let me be honest with you. All these retirement stories sadden me, especially if they are young enough that they have some time left in them.
Are we talking about Fandango?
We're about to talk about Fandango.
Okay, I had to think for a few minutes. JDC, and obviously, you know, we watch TNA, but like,
yeah,
not religiously.
Before I read this article, Fandango is only 6 years younger than me. In fact, his birthday is 3 days after mine. 6 years and 3 days. But the point is, our birthdays are close together day wise. He's 6 years younger than me. I feel like there's still time. I mean, I don't know if he's going out on his terms or what. But I do know that it was a storyline that led to his retirement. This story comes from Fightful. JDC loses retirement match at TNA Genesis. The final match of JDC's career on the billing for TNA Wrestling's Genesis pay-per-view was the retirement match for JDC, formerly known as Fandango. His final match was against his faction mate in the system, Eddie Edwards. JDC and Edwards came out to the ring together alongside fellow members of the system, Moose, Alicia Edwards, and Brian Myers. JDC was teary-eyed on his way to the ring and showed his tattoo of the late Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt. During the match, Edwards put JDC in a sleeper hold, and JDC smiled as he fought out of the submission. He went on to put Edwards in a walls of Jericho, hit him with a code breaker as a nod to his match against Chris Jericho at WWE WrestleMania 29. The conclusion of the match saw JDC seated on the mat after being hit by a series of maneuvers. He encouraged Edwards to deliver the final shot, and his faction mate put him away with the Boston Knee Party. The system came out afterwards to embrace JDC. Members of the roster and staff, including the injured KC Navarro, made their way out to the stage to embrace and celebrate JDC as he wrapped up his 27-year in-ring career. Listen, in the early days of Fandango, I wasn't sold. And I wasn't really sure how I felt about this character coming up. By the end of it, I had my moments with him and Tyler Breeze and their gimmick that they did, but damn it, they were entertaining. I cannot deny that. And I did enjoy it. I was hoping that we might see a reunion at some point. And then Johnny ended up in TNA and became part of the system and was doing great stuff down there. I really thought that I really thought that we had a couple more years before he was going to even consider retirement. I will say this. Thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for never leaving me bored when at the end of the night. even the stories of the bowling alley trip, that was fun. It's going to be weird not being able to go, hey, have you guys heard what Johnny Curtis is doing over there in TNA? But I hope retirement suits you, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is obviously I've fallen off on this. Is he officially actually retiring, or is he retiring from like the TNA type of situation? Because he appeared on NXT not too long ago, right? I mean, that could have been a good send off for him to, but I feel like he's always had a lot still in him.
I mean, look, they actually updated Wikipedia and put him in as an American retired professional wrestler.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of stuff I'm seeing is listing him as retired right now, and it's not just all the articles that I'm seeing. It sounds like it's legit.
Okay. I wish I could play the Fandango theme right now.
I mean, we probably could, but I don't know if it's DMCA compliant.
I'm sure Dizzy will smack us on our hand if we did so.
Yeah, he'd probably drag himself into the chat and tell us.
Turn it off! God damn it!
But yeah, thank you, Fandango.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to.
Oh, he just got married. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on to a little bit of AEW news. In the ongoing discussion about the Netflix Warner Brothers deal, Warner Brothers Discovery deal, and where it leaves AEW. This is from Fightful. Report AEW TV will ostensibly remain with Discovery following close of Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Reported details on the future of AEW programming on Tuesday. That's today. Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery jointly filed a 519-page proxy statement with the latest update to their potential deal. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the statement offers insight into the future of AEW programming. THR reports, though neither the phrase All Elite Wrestling nor the acronym AEW appeared once in the proxy, page 53 foretold the future for the WWE competitor. And they didn't use that term loosely, but I'm using it loosely, as we all know. Really, it was the absence of the words and letters that informed some of this reporting. Following the close of the Netflix Warner Brothers deal, All Elite Wrestling rights will ostensibly remain with Discovery, aka the Global Linear Networks company, though the league's weekly series and premium live events are expected to continue streaming on HBO Max throughout the remainder of AEW's current contract. AEW Dynamite airs on TBS and AEW Collision is on TNT. Both stream on HBO Max. The AEW TV deal is tied to the basic cable channels TNT and TBS and expires at the end of 2027 or 2028, depending on what becomes the contract's fourth-year option. AEW signed a new media rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery at the end of 2024 that began in 2025. Netflix is the home of WWE Raw in the United States and all WWE programming internationally. It is unknown when the deal between Netflix and WBD will officially go through, but I will tell you right now, if you hop on Netflix, you will see stuff from Warner Brothers. And if you hop on HBO Max, you will see stuff from Netflix. So even if the deal isn't officially completed, they've already begun yes, Sean, that's what I said. They've already begun the meshing of the two platforms. The only reason I wanted to bring this story up is because we have talked extensively about how this is going to impact AEW. And I think that it rightly should impact AEW, considering I know Baron thinks it shouldn't be based on the ratings, but AEW is not performing as well as it once did. Yes, you have the diehards, but the casuals are getting tired of it, and they're walking away at a rapid pace. So to know what's about to happen with AEW programming with this deal I think it's kind of important for us to know, especially since WWE Programming's current home is involved in this deal. I don't want AEW to fail. I want AEW to resurge, but I want them to do it right. I want Tony to actually start booking right. To me, that's the core of the issue is Tony's booking. But at the end of the day, I don't want them to fail. But right now, I feel like this deal might be setting them up to fail.
I think it's just too confusing. I think it's too confusing for the fans, right? I know there's only 10% stake into the Warner Brothers with AEW, so AEW goes into their own network, right? Or whatever platform they want to be on, basically. So I think it's almost better to not be on that. I agree, Sean. Let's put Max in for AEW Booker. I'm getting so fucking confused about all these networks. I've said this in the past, and I'm going to say it again. I don't know what the fuck's happening anymore. And I feel like the more I read about it, the more confused I am about it. I just popped on Netflix the other night and found out 11/22/63, Stephen King's book made into adaptation with James Franco is now on there. That was a Hulu exclusive. It's a Hulu exclusive. So like I was mind boggled that it was on Netflix, and I was like, okay, I've read the book. I've watched the series, so I'm gonna watch it again. Why not? But I'm just so confused where all these licenses are coming from, and I'm very confused about the AEW deal to this day, even after Max just explained that to us.
Yeah. I experienced something weird the other day. I went to one of my stores, and while I was there, I was having lunch, and I pulled up my Disney Plus because everything Hulu was on Disney Plus. So that's where I've been watching stuff like Hell's Kitchen. And as I logged into Disney Plus, it pulled up and said, "Oh, we see you're streaming away from home. Some of your content may be different." And Hell's Kitchen did not appear on my Disney Plus. But if Hulu is about to go, because they're talking about Hulu going away and just everything's going to get absorbed into Disney Plus, why would it matter? Especially since I was a mile and a half from my house. I don't understand that. What was I about to pull up? Oh, yeah. So you're right. It was listed as a Hulu exclusive. I want to see if it's even still over here.
On Hulu?
Yeah.
Are we talking 11/22/63?
Yes.
I don't think it is. They removed that a few months back. But it was a Hulu exclusive when it first came out. And of course, I jumped on it as soon as it came out. It had it right there at the bottom of the screen, Hulu exclusive, whenever they did that. And, because I was familiar with the book. And I just seen it on Netflix. And I was like, what the fuck? What is happening here? Yeah. I think what I read, and I could be wrong, Stephen King sold the license to that or something along those lines.
That's possible, but yeah, it is no longer on Hulu. I just confirmed. So, all right, guys.
Oh, okay. So real quick, I just pulled it up. Why on Netflix now? After leaving Hulu, the series was licensed to Netflix as part of Warner Brothers. There you go.
Which, something dairy. There's a series on HBO Max that's Stephen King related, and that's probably why that would explain it right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, our final story of the night is sad news. Not like, oh my god, I can't believe it, but it's kind of sad. I mean, our final story of the night is about good old JR. Jim Ross, and this comes from Ringside News. Jim Ross to miss AEW Dynamite after another scary fall. AEW legend Jim Ross will not be behind the commentary desk for this week's Dynamite, and the reason is another frightening health scare. The Hall of Fame announcer revealed on Monday that he suffered a fall at home that left him stranded on his living room floor for 5 hours. While JR didn't go into further medical detail, He made it clear that the incident was serious enough to force him to cancel his trip to Orlando for this week's AEW taping. Great hashtag CFB playoff game tonight. Congrats to the Hoosiers for an amazing win versus Canes football. My trip to Orlando for AEW Dynamite is postponed due to an untimely fall that saw me lying on my living room floor for 5 hours. I'll be watching, Ross wrote on X. This isn't the first time that JR has had to deal with a scary fall. Ahead of AEW All In last August, he also revealed he had suffered a bad fall just days before flying to London, but still made the trip and worked the commentary desk for the company's biggest show ever. The 74-year-old has faced multiple health battles in recent years. In 2023, he announced that his cancer was gone and had been gradually making more appearances for AEW ever since. Most recently, Ross returned to AEW commentary earlier this month to call Dynamite in his home state of Oklahoma, a triumphant return that fans embraced with open arms. While he won't be in Orlando this week, Jim Ross assured his fans he'll be watching the show from home. I love Jim Ross. There are some allegations out there that I don't know if they're true. He's from Oklahoma, so maybe they are. But I've been a fan of JR for a long time. I feel like JR got put into some not so great situations in WWE, like when they came from Caesar's Palace for WrestleMania and they made him ride out on an elephant, and he obviously was uncomfortable on that. But JR has always, for me at least, been part of the voice of wrestling. I always hated it when Cole got his job, even though part of that was Ross handing it to him. But for me, my favorite commentary team has always been Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. That was the iconic voice of wrestling for me for a good chunk of my being involved in wrestling in some way. I hope JR gets better soon. I mean, you might want to take it easy, JR. I love you to death, but you fell in August. You're just falling again. It might be time for you to. I know you were increasing your schedule after the cancer scare, but I think it might be time to maybe retire. Maybe greatly decrease your schedule, because honestly, right now, I'm worried. I really am. 5 hours on your living room floor. That's scary. I don't know the details, but if you hadn't managed to get up after that 5 hours or get help after that 5 hours or whatever it was that happened that got you back up and whatnot, it could be a different outcome that we're looking at. So it's time to take it easy. Your podcast can be done right there in your living room, so you don't have to go very far. Let's just stick to that for now. All right. I don't want to see more bad news in the coming weeks for you.
It's just one of those things where some of those old school guys just can't let go of things, right? And they have to be there and have to do this. I've said this hundreds of times about JR. He should have been gone a long time ago, especially from AEW. And I think I agree. Like, his podcast has to be making him more money than AEW alone, right? I would think. So yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
And it's not that I don't want to hear his voice on AEW anymore. I
don't want to hear his voice anymore.
Well, look, hold on. Let me clarify what I'm saying here. I cannot stand Shivani. And Excalibur just doesn't do it for me. My favorite voice when if I am watching AEW, is when JR is there and I hear his voice. I'm like, quality commentary is back on this commentary booth. I would rather that he be safe and healthy as he can be, though. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree.
All right, guys. Listen, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for taking part in the conversation. It really means a lot to us. 100 episodes. Can you believe it? 100 episodes, and they left these two to
Couldn't even come back for the 100th episode. These guys. All I had to do is click the button. All you had to do is sit in the chair and just conversate with us. Number 100. 15 years. Literally 15 years of this. And they left Heel Max and the scumbag to run the show.
Yeah, they're going to regret that when they watch the show and realize some of the things we've said and done tonight. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. As far as 8-Bit Unleashed goes, I'm going to put together the next episode, but the problem is right now, I don't know if Styles can even click the buttons enough to get into the show with his wrist. I'll figure out something. We'll talk to him, see what we can do. I would not count on that episode coming very soon unless I can work something out with him. But that being said, I will keep you guys updated. If you're in the Discord, you get information much quicker than anybody else, because when something pops into my head that I think you guys should know, the first place I go is not Twitter. It is the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, you probably should be. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Baron, how can they find you?
I put it on the screen for the folks, and yeah, follow us and get on Discord. We're going to be more active over there, and hopefully a little bit more active on social medias. But yeah, find me on the X at Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends.
As far as Styles, our complaint department, he has really only got the kick left, or you can find him on the Discord with us, but he told us last week that he hardly ever gets on Discord, but I see him in there a lot. But that's deactivated Styles with an 8 instead of, yeah, you've seen it. Follow the show at the Ramblers Pod. Find us on Facebook at Ramblers Podcast, Ramblers Unleashed Podcast, I think it is. You can find me at Max Magius. You can find my other show at Our Shots Podcast. You can find us pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, or you can check us out at random-shots.net. If you enjoyed tonight's show, hit that like button. It's right there. Doesn't cost you anything. Takes a couple seconds, and it burns calories. Just click. Also, if you're in the chat and you saw the poll, click yes. Yes on Golden Globe. And as soon as we get our Golden Globe, I'm going to go be the booker over at AEW. So, and don't forget to tune into the Royal Rumble when I'll be a surprise entrant somewhere in the middle ground.
You got a busy fucking schedule coming up, dude. And I don't even know if I can click the start stream button anymore for you. We might have to hire an assistant for that.
I mean, listen, I promise you that no matter what happens, no matter how quickly I get thrown out of the Royal Rumble, I will try to find a way to go live after the Rumble.
I'm here for it.
If you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, please consider subscribing. And that little bell thing down there, it'll notify you when we go live. Now, do me a favor. Get out of my show. Go watch yourself some wrestling.
Go. Shoo.
And this is the part where
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and